You have studied English for years.
But the moment a native speaker talks fast, you freeze.
You understand the grammar, you know the rules, and yet nothing comes out.
Amara was the same, 27 years old, Lagos to London, born English, and a city that did not slow down for anyone.
This is what changed everything.
Section 1. The Arrival.
The flight landed at Heathrow at 6:40 in the morning, Terminal 2. The air was cold and slightly damp.
Amara had been awake for most of the journey. She had rehearsed her English in her head for 6 hours straight. It had not helped.
The first test came immediately. A sign near baggage reclaim read, "Nothing to declare" or "Goods to declare." She had heard the phrase before, in a textbook, but seeing it in real life at 6 in the morning, after no sleep, felt entirely different.
To declare means to formally tell the authorities what you are carrying. A customs declaration is the official form. If you have items above the duty-free limit, you go right. If you do not, you go left. Amara went left.
At passport control, the queue moved slowly. The officer at the desk was efficient. Not unkind, not warm, just efficient.
Purpose of visit? Work. Do you have a letter from your employer? Yes. How long do you intend to stay? Amara hesitated, not because she did not know the answer, because the officer spoke quickly, clipped, with almost no expression, the kind of English no classroom prepares you for.
She answered. The officer stamped the passport. It took 12 seconds. Amara had been dreading it for 12 weeks.
Past customs, she followed the signs to the Elizabeth line. A member of staff in a yellow vest was helping passengers at the ticket machine.
Single or return? The man asked, gesturing at the screen. A single ticket is one direction only. A return covers the journey both ways. Simple enough in writing, faster in speech than Amara expected.
Single, she said, and felt for the first time like she was actually here, not rehearsing, here.
On the train, she listened. People around her spoke without pausing between words. They contracted sounds, dropped letters, and ran sentences together. It was nothing like the audio recordings she had practiced with.
2 men nearby were talking about a flight delay. One of them said, "We were sat at the boarding gate for 2 hours." Boarding gate, the area in an airport where you wait before getting on the plane. The phrase, "we were sat," is common in British English, though technically non-standard. She would hear it constantly.
She did not know it yet, but she had already started learning, not from a book, from the world outside the window, moving at full speed.
Heathrow to Paddington, Paddington to a friend's spare room in Peckham. London had approximately 0 interest in making her feel welcome. This, it turns out, is how London greets everyone.
Section 2. The flat.
She spent her first week in London looking for a flat. In the UK, people often say flat rather than apartment. Both mean the same thing, but if you say apartment to most British people, they know what you mean. They will also silently note that you learned American English.
She found a listing online, a 1-bedroom flat in Brixton. Reasonable price for London, which is to say, still alarming. She booked a viewing.
A viewing is simply a visit to see a property before deciding to rent or buy it. In the UK, these are usually arranged through a letting agent, a person or company that manages rentals on behalf of the landlord, not a real estate agent, a letting agent.
His name was Marcus. He was wearing a lanyard and speaking at a speed that suggested he had done this tour 400 times already this week.
So it's fully furnished. Beds, sofa, white goods all included. Bills aren't included, but the broadband is. You'd need to put down a 5-week deposit up front, and we'll need references from your employer.
Amara understood roughly half of that. She caught furnished, meaning the flat comes with furniture already inside. She missed white goods the first time. White goods refers to large household appliances, the fridge, washing machine, oven, not a color, a category.
Then there was deposit. A deposit is money paid in advance, held by the landlord or a government scheme, as financial protection against damage or unpaid rent. In England, deposits are legally capped at 5 weeks' rent for most tenancies. Marcus had said exactly that.
And references. A reference is a letter or contact from someone who can confirm you are reliable, usually an employer or previous landlord. For Mara, as someone brand new to the country, this was a problem. She had a job offer letter. She asked if that would do.
Marcus tilted his head slightly, the universal British gesture for probably not, but I won't say that directly.
We normally look for a UK-based reference or a guarantor, but we can have a look at what you've got and see where we land.
See where we land means we'll assess the situation and decide, not a commitment, not a rejection. Typically British. Amara filed that phrase away. She would need it.
Before she left, she had one more question. When would the previous tenant move out?
They're due to take over a room in a shared place next Friday, so we're looking at you being able to move in the following Monday.
Amara got the flat. The guarantor issue was resolved by her employer providing a formal letter. She moved in on Monday. It smelled of fresh paint and someone else's life. Both would fade.
Section 3. The interview.
The job had come through a recruiter, a digital marketing role at a mid-size consultancy in Shoreditch, the kind of office with exposed brick and a barista machine nobody knew how to use.
Amara had been told she was shortlisted. Being shortlisted means you have been selected from a larger pool of applicants to move forward, usually to an interview stage. It is a good sign. It is not a guarantee.
The interview panel had 2 people, Claire, head of marketing, and someone from HR named David, who smiled constantly and said very little.
They opened with the usual questions. Amara handled them well. Then Claire shifted slightly in her chair and said, "We were wondering if you could walk us through how you've approached campaign analysis in a fast-moving environment."
Notice how she phrased it. We were wondering if, not tell us about or we want you to explain. That linguistic softness is not weakness. In British professional culture, it is standard. It signals collaborative tone while still being a direct request.
A learner who takes "we were wondering" as optional will answer too briefly or not at all. It is not optional. It is just polite. In British workplaces, these 2 things often look identical.
Amara answered well, detailed but concise. Then David, who had been quiet until now, leaned forward and said, "And in terms of remuneration, are you happy with the range outlined in the brief?"
Remuneration. The formal word for pay, salary, or financial compensation for work. It is used in contracts, HR documents, and apparently by Davids at consultancy firms in Shoreditch. Amara knew the word. She confirmed she was happy with the range.
Before they finished, Claire mentioned the probationary period, the first 3 months of a job typically, during which both the employer and employee are assessing whether the role is a good fit. Performance is reviewed. The contract can be ended more easily during this time.
It's standard language in UK employment. Claire described it matter-of-factly, nothing threatening in her tone. 3 months probationary, then a formal review. We'd expect to see strong output from day 1, but we appreciate there's always a settling-in period.
A settling-in period. Time to adjust, to learn the systems, to find your footing. Not a soft excuse. a realistic acknowledgement. Amara appreciated that more than they knew.
The offer came 2 days later. She accepted by email with a sentence she had drafted 4 times. It was, in the end, 6 words. I'd be delighted to accept. That was enough.
Section 4. The Pub.
3 weeks into the job, the team went to the pub on a Thursday. This was not optional, not officially, but the way it was framed left no room for uncertainty.
We normally head to the Anchor on Thursdays. You should come. It'll be a good chance to meet everyone properly. That kind of invitation carries weight in British office culture. It is an integration opportunity disguised as a casual drink.
She went. The pub was loud, warm, and smelled like every British pub in every British film she had ever seen. Someone handed her a glass of wine before she had finished saying thank you.
The first real challenge was not the noise, it was the humor. British workplace humor operates on a specific frequency. It is layered, understated, and frequently says the opposite of what it means.
A colleague named Josh was telling a story about a client presentation that had gone badly wrong. He finished with, "Oh, it went brilliantly, absolutely spot on, room full of blank faces, client loved it." He then took a long sip of his drink.
Everyone laughed. Amara smiled. She was not yet sure if she had understood. Spot on, in normal use, means exactly right, perfect. Josh clearly did not mean that. He meant the opposite. This is British understatement layered with sarcasm. It requires context, tone, and reading the room simultaneously.
Later, a woman named Priya asked Amara how she was finding London so far. Amara said, "It's quite different from what I expected." Priya nodded. "Fair enough. It does that to people."
Fair enough is one of the most flexible phrases in British English. It means, I accept what you have said. I'm not going to argue. It can also signal mild agreement, mild sympathy, or a polite ending to a topic. Tone carries everything.
Later still, Josh, who was now on his 3rd drink, was making fun of another colleague, Tom, about something that had happened in a team meeting. Tom, to his credit, laughed first.
Leave it out. Are you taking the mickey? Tom said, grinning. Taking the mickey means making fun of someone, teasing, usually in a light-hearted way. It is not aggressive. In this context, it was affectionate.
Amara caught it this time. She had heard the phrase before, somewhere, but hearing it land in a real moment with real laughter is different from reading it in a glossary. That gap is where language actually lives.
By the end of the night, she had said less than most people there, but she had heard more than any of them realized. That, for now, was the right trade.
Section 5. The Doctor.
6 weeks in, Amara developed a persistent cough. She had registered with a GP, a general practitioner, the week after she arrived. In the UK, a GP is your first point of contact for almost all non-emergency medical needs.
She booked an appointment online. The NHS, the National Health Service, provides healthcare that is free at the point of use for UK residents. The appointment itself costs nothing. The prescription, if medication is needed, carries a standard charge, unless you are exempt, which Amara was not, which she also did not know yet.
The doctor was calm and direct. She introduced herself as Dr. Hassan, asked Amara to sit, and began immediately. How long have you had these symptoms?
Symptoms. The signs that something may be medically wrong. The things you feel or notice. A cough is a symptom. Fatigue is a symptom. Fever is a symptom. Dr. Hassan used the word naturally, and Amara used it back. About 3 weeks, maybe. Just this cough and some tiredness.
The doctor examined her and asked, "Have you tried anything over the counter?"
Over-the-counter medications are those you can buy directly from a pharmacy without a prescription. In the US, you might also hear OTC. In British daily conversation, over-the-counter is the standard phrase.
Amara said she had tried a cough syrup from the chemist. Chemist, the British word for a pharmacy. In American English, you would say drugstore or pharmacy. In the UK, Boots or Lloyd's Pharmacy. The word is interchangeable in most conversations, but chemist is more natural in everyday British speech.
Dr. Hassan decided it was nothing serious, a post-viral cough. She said she would write a prescription for a stronger cough suppressant. She also mentioned that if symptoms persisted, she could make a referral.
A referral is when a GP sends you to a specialist, a consultant, a physiotherapist, or dermatologist for more specific assessment or treatment. You cannot usually see a specialist on the NHS without a GP referral first. It is a gatekeeper system.
At the end of the consultation, Dr. Hassan handed over the prescription and said, "Take it to any pharmacy. You'll pay the standard prescription charge at the counter." Amara asked what the charge was.
£9.90 per item currently. It covers everything on the prescription, not per tablet. The doctor said it matter-of-factly. No apology, no drama, just information.
Amara left with a prescription in hand and a new working vocabulary for navigating a healthcare system she had known nothing about 2 months earlier. The cough was gone within a fortnight. Fortnight, a British word for 2 weeks. Worth knowing.
This is what nobody tells you about language learning. The breakthrough moments do not happen in classrooms. They happen at the chemist counter, at the GP, in a pub on a Thursday watching someone take the mickey.
Section 6. The Bank. By the time Amara had been in London for 6 months, her English had not just improved, it had changed shape. The grammar was still there, but now it had texture, rhythm, edge.
3 months into her time in London, Amara needed to open a current account. In the UK, a current account is the standard day-to-day bank account used for receiving your salary, paying bills, and managing everyday spending. It is not a savings account. It is the account you run your life through. Without one, you cannot receive a payslip, set up direct debits, or do much of anything that requires money moving between people, which, in London, is most things.
She had learned that British people rarely say exactly what they mean, that fair enough ends a conversation and starts one simultaneously, that spot on can mean excellent or catastrophic, depending on whether anyone is laughing.
The challenge was documentation. To open a bank account in the UK, most high street banks require proof of identity and proof of address. High street banks, meaning well-established, mainstream banks with physical branches, as opposed to digital-only banks. Think Barclays, HSBC, NatWest, Lloyd's. The phrase itself comes from the literal high street, the main commercial road of a British town or city where shops and services are concentrated. If it is on the high street, it is mainstream. That is the implication.
She had learned that words live in moments, not in lists. That fluency is not the absence of mistakes. It is the ability to keep moving anyway.
Amara had her passport. What she did not have was a utility bill. A utility bill is a bill for essential household services, gas, electricity, or water. It is one of the most commonly accepted forms of proof of address in the UK. Her flat included all bills in the rent. There was no bill in her name. The landlord paid them. This is common. It is also, for the purposes of opening a bank account, deeply inconvenient. And she had learned something else. The freeze, that moment when a native speaker talks fast and your brain goes blank, that does not disappear overnight. But it gets shorter, week by week,
conversation by conversation.
She visited the nearest branch on a Tuesday afternoon. The customer advisor, the frontline bank employee who handles account queries and applications, listened patiently and explained that without a utility bill or a bank statement showing her UK address, they could not proceed via the standard route. He said it without judgment. Then he added, "However, there is a basic account option that works for your situation."
What you just heard is how fluency is built, not in a textbook, in real moments, at an airport counter, in a GP consultation room, in a loud pub on a Thursday night, like this one.
A basic account requires less documentation to open. It includes a debit card and accepts direct salary deposits. What it typically does not include is an arranged overdraft. An overdraft is a facility that allows you to spend beyond your available balance up to an agreed limit. The bank covers the shortfall, usually in exchange for fees or interest. A basic account does not offer this. For someone new to the country with no UK credit history, this is the trade-off. Amara accepted it. She just needed the card.
If this episode helped you, subscribe. A new episode drops every week. Each one covers real English, the kind that shows up in actual life.
She completed the application form and provided her employment contract. The advisor used the phrase proof of funds, meaning documented evidence that your money is legitimate and comes from a verifiable source. Employment contracts, recent payslips, or bank statements from abroad can all serve this purpose. Her contract was sufficient. The application went through. The permanent debit card arrived by post 4 working days later. Working days means Monday through Friday, excluding bank holidays. And send this to someone who is learning English. They will thank you for it. Talk English to me. We'll see you next week.